we're late on the discourse. Too late.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't even bother.
Well, the big news today, as of today,
Yeah.
Justin Trudeau has gone bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Justin.
Based Pierre. Actually, if anyone can tell me, how do you do the edits where you make somebody blonde and blue-eyed?
Yes.
It's really important.
For a separate, unrelated thing, how do you do that?
I just feel like for future reference, we need a Pierre Poilievre. But glowing Hyperborean Pierre.
If anyone is a Photoshop whiz who can make a glowing Hyperborean Pierre with A10s and perfect blonde hair,
if somebody can make that,
and a Nazi armband,
tell me how to do that. Maybe with that spinning swastika behind them. How do you do that?
How do you guys freaking do all this?
I see that people do that all the time. It's like, how do you do that?
I think people are doing that shit on phones too.
Really?
They assume so.
I don't know how to do that.
I don't know how to do it at all.
Yeah, but I need it.
I need a Aryan Pierre edit. Don't worry about why. But
Aryan super soldier Pierre Poilievre.
It's his moment. He's going to win the election just because he's the opposite of Justin Trudeau and he's not. It's Jagmeet.
Basically by default.
He's going to win.
Like I have a really hard time gaming out a scenario where anyone else wins.
Yeah.
Like Canadians are like golden retriever subtards.
Yeah.
Particularly in, no offense to our listeners from there, but Ontario and Quebec, who get to decide our elections, and Vancouver.
Yeah.
And Ottawa.
Yeah. Yeah.
And basically every major city, and Edmonton.
Yeah.
Are like, we've brought it on ourselves. But there's like Jagmeet Singh.
Yeah.
Other than the like extremely obvious problem. Other than the blindingly obvious problem with Jagmeet.
Other than his apparent flaws. Well, that's an uphill battle going into an election after the last year.
Well,
being Jagmeet.
He's just like.
He should change.
Have you ever heard him speak?
Yeah.
He sounds dumb as a rock.
Yes.
And he has horrible political instincts.
Yes.
So he's totally bound his ship to the Trudeau government. So he's in like a terrible position to capitalize on their like stunning decline.
He tried to do it like a couple months ago, being like, we have no faith in the Liberal government.
He's been doing that for like 2 fucking years.
Yeah,
he's like,
true.
the Liberals are doing a terrible job, but I still support them.
Yeah.
Like it's just like he's totally.
He should change his name to Jagmeet, and then.
He should change his name to John Smith. Justin Smith. No, Justin's take Joshua Smith.
Yeah, he should change his name to Michael J. Fox.
I'm just trying to trick people.
Why don't people do that? If you run for if you're running for president and you're like me or you,
yeah,
would it not be like way smarter to change your name to like Harrison Ford? So that like we've kind of learned that the majority of the voter base is like retarded old people.
Yeah.
So if they go into the ballot box and they see Harrison Ford, or Jimmy Stewart, they'll be like, "Oh my God,
I loved him."
No way! And then they see my little retarded, not close to Stavros. What's going on?
I just the levels are coming in all weird.
We're all fucked up.
Yeah, it's fine. Whatever.
I think that's a pretty. I think you would do not bad because the majority of the voter populace is like retarded elderly people, and if you're like from the Green Party, they don't know fucking Lori.
Maybe this can be our episode where we inform our American listeners on Canadian politics.
This will be a racist episode, guys.
Yeah, and maybe we'll get into American news later. But, Jagmeet Singh has no chance.
No.
Because he's totally bound himself to the Liberals, so he's in a terrible position.
Also, I do think...
And there's another issue, too.
The other issue, I think, is what's holding him back the most. I think what we're talking about is, like, level, 3, when you're talking to, average Canadian voter. Why aren't you voting for Jagmeet Singh?
Yeah.
Your average guy, especially in Alberta, if you're like, hey, why aren't you voting for Jagmeet Singh? They're not going to be like, well, he sort of bound himself to the Liberal Party, and they're going to be like, his
name is Jagmeet Singh, for Pete's sake.
For crying out loud.
He's a Muslim. Look, he's got a turban. He's a freaking Muslim.
We saw what happened when America elected a freaking Muslim. I sure don't want that up here.
Yeah. That's true. But yeah, I mean, we elected Justin Trudeau 3 fucking times.
Yeah, but I think him getting elected the first time at least.
The first time it was like, we want weed.
Yeah, it was weed. The second time, I think it's because my generation, which was a very politically like fucked up and raped group of people, it was like their first election.
Yeah.
That was the first time they could vote, and they were like, yes.
Now Zoomers are primed for turbo-fascism forever.
Zoomers?
AKA the Pierre Poilievre platform.
Unironically, I think there's a unignorable amount of Zoomers who want Hitler.
Yeah. I've been mulling this over for the past couple weeks.
Yeah.
Because it is the type of thing, like this might be a little bit extreme, but like for the last decade, we've had a government that's like actively, ideologically committed to.
You're gonna have to censor that, but yes.
Committed to boo.
Who do you think? Who do you think?
And I think that's where a lot of people, when it comes to like extremist politics, that's like the question that starts it all, is like, why does our government want to destroy us?
Yeah.
And that's where like Jews are an answer that people come to.
Yeah.
Whether or not that's correct or not.
People come to that because they're going, well, I'm a descendant of Abel, and these are obviously Canaanites. This is a generational spiritual war.
Yeah, and it's just like you find yourself thinking, like, it seems like my government actively wants to destroy me.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah.
And there's sort of a few routes you can go from that. And one of them is like, oh, it's an ancient like blood feud between.
That's the one I went.
Yeah, well, a lot of people do. I think that's where that comes from.
Yeah,
it's people trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And like, you know, the other one you could go with like, oh, it's like communist. The more like BoomerCon one is like, oh, it's communist.
It's foreign. It's foreign.
Chi-coms.
Yeah. Boomers love to blame their like fucked up state of affairs on like a country that's never cared about that at all.
Yeah, like I just finished.
You really think Russia is the reason your pension isn't worth what it used to be?
Like I just finished the David Horowitz book.
Oh yeah.
Which
Can you get an early life check on David Horowitz?
No need. Honestly, it was a good book. It's kind of funny. I was trying to look up, because who was it? It was another one of our powerful new allies, Philippe.
Shout out Philippe. I don't think we've ever shouted out Philippe.
Yeah, he also has very like informative comments on the Patreon.
Yes.
But he had one about David Horowitz. It was a little while ago. I forget what exactly he said, but it kind of gave me the sense like you should be a little wary of this guy. And I look him up, and like here's the thing: he's a ex-Marxist, Trotskyite, BoomerCon Jewish guy. So just like demographically speaking, it's like, yeah, he's going to be like an arch neocon turbo Zionist.
Yeah.
True. Fact check. True. I'm gonna fact check myself right here. True.
Community notes have found this is real.
And oh man, I was trying to just like look up a little bit more on him.
Yeah.
Seems like he might be vaguely responsible for unleashing Ben Shapiro on the world.
Now that's now if there's any validity to that.
Which, by the way,
we're gonna have to get even for that.
I've been genuinely thinking like I should start DMing him on Twitter.
Ben Shapiro?
No, David Horowitz.
Oh, sure.
Because he's got the David Horowitz. It's called like the David Horowitz like Freedom Council or some shit like that.
Awesome.
But we need to get some David Horowitz Freedom Council cash ASAP.
Well, I think we do belong on something called the Freedom Council.
I think 1,000,000,000%. Yeah, I'm gonna start DMing David Horowitz all the time.
We need to get us and the Danger Cats on David Horowitz's Freedom Council. Yeah.
And get some of that David Horowitz cash.
Yeah.
We're listen, like I know our methods may be unorthodox.
Yeah.
But we're radicalizing the youth in favor of Israel.
Which is what's always been important. I was actually hosting a stand-up show last night, and friend of the show, Bradley, because I was hosting the show, he issued me a little challenge to bring up Israel as much as I could throughout the show.
Based.
I hit 8 times.
Nice.
Which was pretty good.
In favor.
Yeah. It was always, and I ended the show by saying, guys, if you have extra cash and you don't know what to do with it, and you really enjoyed the stand-up show, you should donate it to the ADL.
Well, okay,
and that didn't go well. I'm gonna tell you what, no one knew what that was.
Well, I mean, I think we've discussed the concept of post irony before, but long story short is we're tricking you into supporting Israel. which is why we deserve David Horowitz Freedom Council money. But David Horowitz, he has an SPLC.
Sorry, we're tricking you. It's really
Give us the cash, Dave.
We're tricking people.
I did like his book. It's a good book.
Yeah.
But yeah, he has an SPLC extremist page.
Oh, good.
But it's just this big list of stuff where it's like, in 2011, he called Obama a thug.
He's a homo thug.
Yeah.
Obama is a homo thug.
He called Obama a homo thug in 2012. And it's like, based.
That's pretty funny.
But yeah, David Horowitz, Freedom Council money.
Mm-hmm.
Start getting in his replies, mentioning the Chrome Boys.
Yeah.
And how we're one of the only youth-focused, anti-communist, anti-Satanist, pro-Israel podcasts.
Yeah.
Using reverse psychology.
To get the youth into what matters. Israel. And hating Satanism.
Yeah.
It's been piss play.
David Horowitz, it's just a joke, man. Chill.
I don't like piss play.
Sign us to the David Horowitz Freedom Council.
Who is even on that?
Ben Shapiro.
Fuck.
David Horowitz.
Barney Frank.
Bibi Netanyahu. I don't know. Apparently he's like responsible for a lot of the Ben Shapiro types.
What do you mean by that?
I don't know. I haven't been able to find a solid link. I've heard people are saying.
Like responsible the same way Cenk Uygur is responsible for Hassad Piker?
I think he just like throws money around. And it's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
How many other alt-right podcasts, alt-right ironic centrist podcasts?
Ironic as it... Well, no, because Trudeau's gone, so it's legal to do what we do again. And
the great thing about Ariane Pierre coming in is it's over for woke anti-Semitism in Canada.
Yeah. That's what I'm most excited about, is that anti-Semitism from the left is over.
The good news is it's still cool for white guys to dress in like Indian turbans and shit, but not be anti-Semitic, so that's good.
Yeah,
right?
Everyone's going to start having to tweet in Hebrew.
We should start wearing those like Indian Nehru suits.
They're like orange and teal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With little like head scarves.
Well, I think we should wear...
You know that every fucking politician in Canada needs to wear all the time?
Yeah. You know.
All of our politicians are just in like giant turbans with the big jewel in the middle.
They're dressed like sultans.
And like those...
They're wearing big pants and curly-toed shoes.
Yeah.
And they're eating grapes all day and just
How
sitting.
Beautiful right-wing MILF Danielle Smith is wearing curly shoes all the time.
beautiful neocon MILF Danielle Smith.
How she's showing up on Fox all the time in her curly Sultan shoes.
Sexy neocon MILF Danielle Smith. And I think it's important to note, Christina Freeland, MILF status. She looks like
caked up shorty, Christina Freeland.
Yeah, she's a pog. Christina Freeland, otherwise known as Canada's most famous pog.
Oh, you mean that pog? Who I jack off to every day? That cube-headed pog?
That cube-headed, meth-faced pog?
You know, I'm just saying, if me and Christia, if Christia Freeland let me inseminate her, we would have some unbelievably cube-headed children.
They'd be like Minecraft rats.
We'd have some really rat-like, but also cube-head, but also caked up. Children.
I'd have a pog white son. Yeah, my son's a bit of a pog.
I mean, just saying that if you combined me and Christia Freeland, like, you know, if I was allowed to cum in her pussy, our kids would have giant fat asses, big cube heads, and rat-like noses.
And they'd fucking love to put a big block of cheese in a crock pot. And they'd hang out.
Yeah, shout out our future Prime Minister,
Christia Freeland.
After Ariane Pierre,
she can have what's
they
left.
They should get married.
That'd be so... I'm sure he'd love that.
He should ditch his weird brown wife. his swarthoid wife.
and marry a sexy pog like Christy Freeland. Yeah, beautiful Turkish pog Christy Freeland.
They can do ice cream tricks and shit. I don't care.
Fuck, that's what was making me laugh the other day when we were talking about Eric Adams and his like frequent trips to Turkey.
Oh yeah,
I was laughing so hard at him not going for hair surgery, but just going because he likes to get fucked with at the ice cream, and like seemingly can't find that anywhere in New York City.
Well, you know what, black people and magic. It's like normal white guys and big wheel of cheese.
It's like us, us Aryan white guys and a nice serving of peanut butter on something that I'm not sure what it is, but it looks a little dangerous.
Yeah,
but I'll check it out.
It's like based white guys in Israel. It's just meant to be, right, David?
It's like Pierre Poilievre and a beautiful Turkish pog, Christia Freeland.
David. David. Israel.
Come on.
Israel.
Oh yeah, but Ariane Pierre was just on Jordan B. Peterson's podcast.
I saw.
I didn't watch any of that.
Man, I gotta say, Trudeau is like distinct. I'm glad to be rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
He's like distinctly annoying.
Yeah,
and has done like a lot of damage to the. He's done a horrible job.
I think a lot of it is irreparable too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfixable damage to the country.
I mean, I feel like a lot of analyzing politics is kind of like figuring out if it's malice or incompetence.
Yeah.
And with him, it's kind of tough.
I think, though, it's important to keep in mind it could be either.
Or both.
Yeah. But it's important to treat it like malice.
Yeah, because, I mean, I think that they are... note to future self, bleep this, ideologically committed.
Bleep it. Figure it out. You know what we're talking about.
Join the Patreon if you want to know what I just said.
You know it, though, already in your heart and bones.
But they're also literally stupid.
Yeah.
But, like, it's like, yeah, like, number on graph goes up if you spam infinite number of people in.
Yeah.
But even Canadians have figured out that it's like fucked our quality of life.
Yeah. Now you can get hepatitis at Tim Hortons.
But will Ariane Pierre fix that?
Well, it's off to a good start because he's tweeting in Hebrew.
Base.
So that's a good
It's
step.
off to a good start. He's tweeting in Hebrew and wearing a turban. So things are looking good.
So I saw that. I went, oh, thank God someone's listening.
He's tweeting in Hebrew. He's going to get rid of woke anti-Semitism. And guess what? He's wearing curly Sultan shoes.
I saw all that in a picture. I went, oh, thank
all right.
God.
Looking good now.
We're on the right track now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It feels very vaguely treasonous. But I've come up with, I think, a brilliant plan.
Yeah.
So basically, the Trump Reich, you take Alberta and Saskatchewan, you cede the Lower Mainland, Vancouver, to the Taiwan Semiconductor Company, and also take the rest of BC.
Yeah.
You nuke Southern Ontario and Quebec.
Yeah. Permanently destroy, salt the earth.
Profit.
Win. What about the Northwest Territories?
Actually,
we've never checked in on them. Canada has never checked in on the Northwest Territories.
No,
you don't have to.
No, we can. We should take them too, because there's like literally 15,000 people who live there.
True.
But like a bunch of like gold mines and stuff.
True. Yeah.
But like all this talk about like Canada being annexed by the turbo fascist Trump Reich.
Yeah.
Ontario and Quebec are not allowed.
No. No.
They're not allowed to come.
That's like, but what that is like, it's like Trump is like starting to date a single mom.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you meet two of the kids, Alberta and Saskatchewan, and they love you. They think, hey man, you know what? I think you could be a good dad to me.
Yeah.
And then you got this little
listen, I think we have some listeners in Ontario and Quebec, and no shade to y'all listening and enjoying our Chrome Boys podcast. supersedes all of your pre-existing fucked up attributes.
It's also the first step.
Yeah.
In recovery.
But Quebec deserves to be a third world country. They seem desperate to.
Yeah.
And that's what they deserve. Same with Ontario.
Yeah. They can keep Toronto.
You know what? Fuck it. We'll cede Toronto to India.
We kind of have done that already.
The Taiwan Semiconductor Company can have Vancouver.
Yeah.
And the rest of BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and the territories.
Yeah.
We join the Trump Reich.
We become a new state known as Gwinzo.
Based Gwinzo.
Gwinzo, United States.
Gwinzo.
Edmonton, Gwinzo, United States.
I mean, it feels vaguely treasonous. And it's not like it...
Treasonous to who?
India?
yeah, that's the thing. Who is this treasonous to?
The thing is, it's already over.
Yeah. It's cooked.
Yeah, and like the thing is, like, man, it's hard not to get black-pilled sometimes. I try.
We try to be a white pill cast, but there are things you can't ignore.
Because I mean, it's tough to look at Canada and not just be like, it's over.
Kill it. Put it out of its misery.
It's over. Nuke Quebec. Nuke Toronto. Nuke Ottawa. For sure, nuke Ottawa. Maritimes, you don't even have to nuke.
Yeah.
Just leave them be.
Winnipeg can join the United Kingdom.
You know what? Other Indians can have Winnipeg.
I think Somalia can have Winnipeg. Give them...
No, Winnipeg can be the capital of the Cree Nation.
Well, what I think is cool is that, because Winnipeg is famously the crime capital of Canada, always. So I think if we give it to Somalia, congratulations, you now have a new safest city in your country. Yeah. Which is Winnipeg. By a mile. Now that Winnipeg is the safest city in all of Somalia.
Yeah. And that's my plan.
That's the plan. That's as good of a plan as when you schemed to give a bunch of countries back to the British to fix it.
All of them.
All of them. China.
Well, that is the optimal. I mean, listen, I think I've said this before, but I think, the optimal solution, the best form of government, designed by the British, managed by the Chinese.
Yes. Yeah.
Look it up.
Yeah. Yeah. The best form of government, designed by the Tartarians, managed by the Scythians.
Yeah, managed by the frequency of bells.
Managed by the first Irish. Guys, it's been a treat. I'm so happy to be back doing normal pods. We got to be well over an hour on this one.
Probably.
Nice XL sode to kick off the new year, first one of 2025.
Who knows what the hell I'll say in the Patreon one.
Where you're going to start puking.
I'm hammered. If you thought this episode was racist, you should pay $5 for the Patreon.
You want to hear what kind of... You're going to have to censor this we're talking about in Canada.
Yeah, listen, in the Patreon episode, we're going to get into all the discourse. All the shit you've been reading on Twitter for the last month. We're just going to repeat.
We're going to say it again.
You want to hear about everything you've thought about H-1Bs, about the Rotterdam Muslim rape scandal?
Yeah.
We're chatting it.
We're chatting Muslim rape.
Esoteric Elon Musk lore that only we're privy to? What?
You're going to have to censor Muslim rape. For sure.
Yeah.
There's no way that's cool. There's no way that's cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, thank you. Have a good day.